LitAchieve Academy. Today we are exploring D.H. Lawrence's remarkable poem Snake. This poem is a perfect blend of nature, human psychology and moral conflict, and I'll guide you through it line by line, analyzing its rich themes and ending with a thought-provoking conclusion. So moving on to the author, D.H. Lawrence, his full name is David Herbert Richards Lawrence. He was born in the year 1885 and died in 1930. His birthplace was Eastwood, Nottinghamshire, England. Four of his most famous novels include Sons and Lovers, published in 1913, Rainbow, 1915, Women in Love, 1920, Lady Chatterley's Lover, 1928. Let's begin with the opening lines of the poem. A snake came to my water trough on a hot day, and I in pyjamas for the heat to drink there. So here, Lawrence paints a very clear picture. Imagine it's a scorching summer day. The speaker is casually dressed in pajamas, trying to stay cool. Suddenly he notices a snake at his water trough, drinking water. This scene feels peaceful, doesn't it? It's just a moment shared between a human and an animal, both trying to quench their thirst. The next stanza. In the deep, strange scented shade of the great dark carob tree, I came down the steps with my pitcher and must stand and wait, for there he was at the trough before me. So I'll explain these lines for you. Now imagine there's a large carob tree nearby, its shade providing some relief from the heat. The speaker comes down the steps with his pitcher, intending to collect water. But he stops. Why? Because the snake is already there. This moment of waiting shows the speaker's patience and respect for the snake. He doesn't rush or disturb it. The next few lines. He reached down from a fissure in the earth wall in the gloom and trailed his yellow-brown slackness, soft-bellied down over the edge of the stone trough. Here, Lawrence describes the snake in great detail. Imagine the snake slowly emerging from a crack in the earth. Its body is yellow-brown. Moving smoothly and lazily as it reaches the water. Words like slackness and soft-bellied make the snake seem calm and non-threatening. The description is vivid, making you feel like you are watching this moment unfold. And rested his throat upon the stone bottom, and where the water has dripped from the tap, in a small clearness he sipped with his straight mouth, softly drank through his straight gums, into his slack long body silently. This part is so serene. Picture the snake resting its head on the stone bottom of the trough, drinking water quietly and gracefully. The words softly and silently highlight the peacefulness of the scene. Softly and silently highlight the peacefulness of the scene. It's as if the snake is completely at ease, unaware of the speaker's presence. The next few lines. Someone was before me at my water trough, and I, like a second comer, waiting. Here the speaker feels like an intruder in his own space. The snake's presence makes him feel like a guest, rather than the owner of the water trough. This subtle shift in perspective shows the speaker's growing respect for the snake. The next line. He lifted his head from his drinking as cattle do, and looked at me vaguely as drinking cattle do, and flickered his two-forked tongue from his lips, and mused a moment, and stooped and drank a little more. The comparison to cattle here in these lines makes the snake's behavior seem familiar and non-threatening. It's just an animal drinking water, pausing and then drinking some more. The flickering tongue is a natural part of how snakes sense their surroundings. This line emphasizes the ordinary, everyday nature of the snake's actions. Being earthed down, earth golden from the burning bowels of the earth, on the day of Sicilian July with Etna smoking. This description ties the snake to the earth itself. Its colors, brown and gold, its colors, brown and golden, are like the earth's tones. The reference to Mount Etna. Mount Etna is actually a volcano in Sicily, adds a sense of grandeur and power to the scene. It's as if the snake embodies the raw energy of nature. Next few lines. The voice of my education said to me, he must be killed, for in Sicily the black snakes are innocent, the gold are venomous. Here, now the tone shifts. The speaker's natural admiration for the snake is interrupted by what he's been taught. In Sicily, golden snakes are considered dangerous, so they must be killed. This is where the internal conflict begins. The speaker's tone between his instincts to admire the snake and the societal conditioning that tells him to fear and destroy it. Next few lines. And voices in me said, if you were a man, you would take a stick and break him now and finish him off. Here we see that there is a pressure to conform to societal expectations. The speaker feels that to prove his masculinity, he should kill the snake. This line reflects how societal norms can influence our actions, even when they go against our true feelings. But must I confess how I liked him? How glad I was he had come like a guest in quiet to drink at my water trough and depart peaceful, pacified, and thankless into the burning bowels of this earth. So, despite the societal pressure, the speaker admits he likes the snake. He sees it as a quiet, unassuming guest, simply coming to drink water and leave. This shows the speaker's deep respect and appreciation for the snake as a living being. Was it cowardice that I dared not kill him? Was it perversity that I longed to talk to him? Was it humility to feel so honored? I felt so honored. Here the speaker questions his own feelings. Is he a coward for not killing the snake? Or is it something deeper? A sense of humility and wonder at being in the presence of such a majestic creature? This introspection highlights the complexity of his emotions. The next few lines. And yet those voices, if you're not afraid, you would kill him. We see that the societal voices persist for the writer, accusing the speaker of being afraid. This shows how strong societal conditioning can be, even when it goes against our instincts. And truly, I was afraid. I was most afraid, but even so, honored still more that he should seek my hospitality from out the dark door of the secret earth. Here, the speaker admits his fear, but also feels deeply honored that the snake chose his water trough. This duality of fear and admiration captures the essence of the poem's conflict. He drank enough. This next stanza. He drank enough and lifted his head dreamily as one who has drunken, and flickered his tongue like a forked knife on the air, so black, seeming to lick his lips, and looked around like a god, unseeing, into the air, and slowly turned his head, and slowly, very slowly, as if thrice a dream, proceeded to draw his slow length curving round and climb again the broken bank of my wall face. So this stanza is almost cinematic. The snake finishes drinking water, looks around dreamily, and begins to move. The slow, deliberate movements make the snake seem majestic, almost godlike. It's a moment of quiet awe and wonder. The next stanza. And he put his head into that dreadful hole, and as he slowly drew up, snake easing his shoulders, and entered farther, a sort of horror, a sort of protest against his withdrawing into the horrid black hole, deliberately going into the blackness and slowly drawing himself after. Overcame me, now his back was turned. So we see that in the stanza, as the snake retreats into its hole, the speaker feels a mix of horror and sadness. The black hole here symbolizes the unknown, something dark and mysterious. The speaker's emotions are complex. He doesn't want the snake to leave, but also feels uneasy about its disappearance. I looked around. I put down my pitcher. I picked up a clumsy log and threw it at the water trough with a clatter. In a moment of weakness, the speaker acts impulsively in these lines. He throws a log not directly at the snake but near it. This act feels petty and unnecessary, driven by societal expectations rather than genuine fear. The next stanza. I think it did not hit him, but suddenly that part of him that was left behind convulsed in undignified haste, writhed like lightning, and is gone into the black hole, the earth-lip fissure in the wall front, at which in the intense still noon I stared with fascination. The snake quickly retreats in here, its movements now frantic, undignified. The speaker watches, fascinated but also regretful. The peaceful connection he felt earlier is now broken. Next stanza. And immediately I regretted it. I thought how paltry, how vulgar, what a mean act. I despised myself and the voices of my accursed human education. In these lines, the speaker says that his regret is immediate and intense. He realizes that his act was petty and driven by societal conditioning rather than his true feelings. He despises himself for giving in to those voices. And I thought of the albatross and I wished he would come back, my snake. These lines has a reference to the poem The Rime of the Asian Mariner by S.T. Coleridge. Okay, so in that poem, the mariner kills an albatross and he feels sorry about it. Similarly, here the speaker feels guilt for his unnecessary act of violence. He wishes the snake would return so he'd make amends. The next few lines. For he seemed to me again like a king in exile, uncrowned in the underworld, now due to be crowned again. The snake here is elevated to the status of a king, a powerful and noble figure. The speaker sees it as a creature worthy of respect and reverence and not fear. The last few lines. And so I missed my chance with one of the lords of life and have something to expiate a pettiness. In the end, the speaker reflects on his actions with regret. He realizes he had the chance to connect with something greater, a Lord of life, but he let societal pressures lead him to petty act. This final line captures the poem's message about the importance of respecting nature and following our instincts rather than societal norms. So what are the major themes that are present in this poem? The first one is nature versus civilization. The snake represents nature, the natural world, pure, calm, beautiful world. Here, the speaker's education represents civilization, which often teaches us to fear and control nature. This theme explores the tension between these two forces. The second theme is moral conflict. The speaker's internal struggle shows how complicated morality can be. So we have a question here. Should he have acted out of fear or should he have trusted his instincts to let the snake move on? The third one, reverence for life. Lawrence's description of the snake as a lord of life reminds us that all creatures, even those we fear, deserve respect. And finally, masculinity and power. The poem critiques traditional ideas of masculinity, showing how they can lead to unnecessary violence. It asks us to rethink what it really means to be strong. So with that, we come to the end of the poem. Right. So thank you for watching this video. Right. And I think we can all agree, next time you see a snake, maybe just offer it a cup of tea and a biscuit. Who knows? It might write a poem about you someday. And while you are at it, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because your support helps me keep bringing more poetic adventures to life. So see you in the next one. Thank you.